Hello and welcome to New Game Plus. I'm Tim. I'm joined by Donald. How are you?
I continue to be knees deep in video games. I continue to be shins deep. Wait, shins. I'm deep in video games, as we all are. Because it's not just the fact that we're getting all the games released around this time of the year, but it's also the fact that we've got the Tokyo Game Show right now as we're recording.
Yes, and for once we actually have a press conference that's not at ridiculous hours of the morning. So.
I don't know, it's during office hours, which is pretty bad for me.
Yeah, so like late afternoon we watched the Sony press conference, lots of very interesting announcements, as well as Square Enix showing off 4 games, none of which were Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 15, or Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, of course not. You have to save that. But they did show off Kingdom Hearts though, just Kingdom Hearts 2.8.
Almost there.
Almost.
Not quite.
It's like that joke. Valve can't count to 3, neither can Kingdom Hearts. 1, 2, 2.5, 358 over 2.
Yes, but Capcom were there as well.
Yeah.
We didn't see Street Fighter 5, but we've been seeing a lot of that lately.
Yeah, we've got a new character announced very recently as well from that.
Yes, and we've also got SNK were there showing off King of Fighters 14, which is moving towards 3D.
Not the King of Fighters from 2014?
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the 14.
But that's the thing, yeah. Like it marks a big departure from the traditional King of Fighters art styles. Like it's 3D characters now, as opposed to just the animated sprites.
Yes. But
I kind of like that, actually.
One of the bigger ones from the Sony press conference as well was the Bloodborne expansion, something that's been very successful from Software. And they're still working on Dark Souls 3 as well. So
they're busy, but we will bring you coverage from the Tokyo Game Show floor. Matt is up there as we speak. But at the moment, we have a TV show this week, right now.
We've got All Game Plus. Later on in the episode, we've got a review of Mario Maker.
Super Mario Maker.
And first up,
we have Onechanbara. Try pronouncing that, Tim.
No.
So, Onechanbara Z2 Chaos. It's Z2. We're Australian.
Yeah.
We're Australian. It's one of those games that was sort of doomed from the beginning, wasn't it? So, it's a hack and slasher with sort of DMC style combo elements. It's got a bunch of bikini-clad women, which
you can't have that.
And it's got sort of Ninja Turtles-esque edgy dialogue all throughout it. And on top of that, it's not a AAA title. It's just not. So people are looking at this, they're going, well, it's crass, it's button mashy, it's not worth the time. And that's bad.
That's bad because this game is so much more than that. The combo system, the partner system, even the weapon system, there's so much there to this game that if you're going into it expecting a clone of either Muso or DMC, you are going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, that's right. It has so much more. And the thing is, like, even though it's full of these bikini-clad women, in reality, it's not as crass as it would like you to think it is.
No.
And there's actually a lot of heart and soul sort of underneath it. Like, the story is silly, but the characters themselves have some pretty interesting interactions.
Yeah.
And yeah, the action is completely legit. Like, surprisingly fun on top of that.
Music's really nice too.
Yes,
the art
nice,
style
yeah.
itself, it's, I guess, standard in the whole, cityscapes, the different types of styles.
Like it's definitely got its bland moments or
Yeah.
generic moments, but I think that the action and speed that it has sort of makes up for that. And it runs, it never lagged.
Never
lagged once, which is hard to say.
No, like, it's a PS4 game. You're going to get a lot of time out of this game. The campaign's a bit short.
It's a bit short, but that's hack and slashes
Yeah.
in general. And yeah, I don't know, like, I'm a convert.
I'm confident.
Now, Kenny, Void Invaders is a game that magically made its way into my inbox. I'd heard nothing about, I had no expectations of, but me and you decided to play it. Like, what are your first thoughts? What were the first thing that you thought playing the game?
This game is rainbows.
Yes.
That's the very first thing I thought about.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very colourful. The camera shakes are there. Like, if you've got epilepsy, you really probably need to be wary of this one because the photosensitivity thing is a big deal. But I guess at its core, I guess the easiest way to describe it is you play like it's not the Space Invaders ship, but it's like you fight the Space Invaders enemies, but it's different patterns, it's different shooting. Like, I don't know, is there a better way to describe it than what I just did, or?
Well, obviously it's going for that retro shtick, but
The music, I quite enjoyed the music.
Yep.
It's very catchy, although like can get repetitive after a little bit. But I think the key thing is it's going for simplicity. It's trying out that age-old formula, but it's making it shiny with rainbows.
Yeah, and I guess that is the big thing. I guess coming from Ikaruga, Raiden and stuff, where it's a far more structured experience. Basically, you get whichever power you want. It shoots either the blue laser or the whatever. And it's far more predictable in the sense that I get this power, and then if I want to switch, I switch to this. I switch to this. Void Invaders tends to be far more simplistic in the way that it approaches it. It's just basically shoot up. The accuracy itself isn't on par.
Oh yeah,
and
that's one of the things. If you're used to Ikaruga and stuff like that, that scatter on the shots is gonna annoy you. There are a few things which make this a little bit more flair. There's a lot of flair, but sometimes you feel it eats into the substance.
Yeah, and I mean there is like a leveling system in there, but I still don't even know how much that really like adds. You know what I mean? Like, did you find yourself utilizing that in any meaningful way?
It just adds to your DPS, makes the bosses a little bit less tedious because like if you just go in without leveling, you'll find some of the bosses take a little while longer than you like to.
So I guess it's a worthwhile little distraction, but nothing more.
Oh yep, but lots of rainbows with that distraction.
One of the potential game changers of our industry is virtual reality. We've had the Oculus just gain momentum for the past 3 or 4 years, and HTC, Valve, Sony, they're all getting into the ring as well. Tim, you've had a chance to try some of these VR headsets. What are your initial thoughts?
Yes, while I was over in Seattle, I stayed with the guys at Converge VR, and they're working on their own stuff, but they kindly let me to try some of their dev kits, the Oculus, the HTC Vive, the Samsung Gear, and I got to try a lot of VR demos as well as some games as well, and it is certainly a very interesting concept coming into this new era of gaming.
And you came to this not really having tried VR before, so what was that initial feeling of just putting the headset on?
Yes, so basically when you've got the full the Oculus and the HTC Vive, it is completely enclosing. You've got a headset on, you've got the device on your face, you can't see or hear anything except for what the device is showing you. And I started off with the Valve Portal VR demo on the HTC Vive, and I've got to say, it was fantastic. It was very immersive, great experience, and the whole thing is set up so with the HTC Vive, there's 2 separate towers in either corner, and they shoot lasers at the device on your face and works out where you are in this virtual space. So you get to interact with the robots from the Portal 2 world as well as GLaDOS. While it's not a game in itself, a lot of these VR experiences are just demos or proof of concepts. It was still a fantastic experience.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard as well from a lot of people who've tried VR for like the first time. There's a word that the industry uses like called presence, of just being completely feeling immersed in this virtual world. And these headsets are probably one of the first ones to be able to get that feeling of presence successfully.
Yes.
But like that's all fine and well, but what are people going to buy these headsets for? What kind of games do you reckon we'll see on these things?
Well, we don't really know at the moment because all we're really seeing is these concept and these demos. And while they have a lot of potential, we haven't really seen this killer app. Because essentially what these devices are, they're going to be the new consoles. So with a Microsoft console, you're buying it for Halo, you're buying it for these exclusives. What are you buying these things for? And we're seeing some integration with some current games with beefy PC systems like Elite Dangerous. You're buying it for the space flight simulation and all that sort of stuff. But as far as pure VR experiences go, there's not too many actual games that are happening at the moment.
There's going to be a lot of experimentation. We're going to see a lot of bad ports of conventional games into VRs, but we're going to find the 1 or 2, and there are a lot of developers working on it, that will find a unique use for VR, and that will probably be the killer, because ultimately, this is the sort of thing that you have to try on for yourself, doesn't it?
Welcome to another Old Game Plus, and we're going to do a retro remake today, and we're going to do one on, finally, an Amiga game. Amiga game.
And there's been Steam sales recently.
Yeah, so Steam sales have been on recently, but you can get a lot of the old Amiga games are now available on Steam. So that's a really good way to get them if you were into them back in the day.
And one we'll look at today is from probably one of the most prominent Amiga developers, not necessarily prolific, but Bitmap Brothers. And Bitmap Brothers released Speedball 1 and 2, Gods, Chaos Engine,
Big
Xenon,
games in the Amiga circles.
Yeah, very. They had a cyberpunk graphic style, late 80s, early 90s sort of electro dance music. They used some of it licensed. But the one I downloaded on Steam is Chaos Engine. And that's my original CD32 version.
So Chaos Engine is a multi-directional, top-down, kind of slightly angled shooter, side-scrolling. So originally, when you played these games, you used a controller or a keyboard, and most people used a controller, which was a single joystick with 1 or 2 buttons, like this. But to do a multi-directional shooter back then, you would have to move in one direction and then quickly twitch back if you wanted to fire in the other direction and hit the fire button, and then move back in the other direction.
And Chaos Engine needs you to do that a lot. So you'll be running one way, quickly fire, and back. And because you're going...
Sounds beautiful.
It's the way we used to do it. Those quick twitch movements. Now, of course, control schemes have changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, well, Sony introduced the dual stick controller, and everything that's followed since has dual sticks. But this game
still uses the old sort of control scheme, except now you have to use, or if you don't have a joystick, and this has an Atari connector, so you can't use something like that. Uses a dual or a joypad style. You still have to do those twitch moves. So you're moving one way, quickly backfire, and it doesn't work.
So we've evolved our controllers to be able to move in one direction, hold the stick in the other direction, and fire in that direction.
Yeah, like Torchlight, Geometry Wars, games like that.
Yeah.
For some reason...
This game hasn't been rebooted with that functionality.
Yeah, Chaos Engine, it still has a jerky movement as the old Amiga did. It's not a big deal, but that's how it used to be. The control's still the same, but on a joypad where it really is difficult to do. It's still a fun game. It's fantastic. Your AI character was very useful, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
AI characters were very hit and miss. This was great. Bitmap Brothers were great developers like that. But as far as retro remake goes...
Definitely retro.
I'd say... dig out the old one, dig out the old joystick, and enjoy it how it used to be.
Now, I grew up on games like Raiden at the pub. We always had dinner, and there was always an arcade cab there. I think it was Raiden 2. But Raiden 4 is finally out on Steam, Overkill. Now, this is a re-release from the XBLA title, and it's a good thing because this is both a fantastic game that has the original arcade game in there with the original difficulty settings, as well as a whole lot more, and a lot more modes as well. So you've got the normal time attack modes and a couple of things where you can select stages, but the main addition to this game was the Overkill mode, and it's a slightly different way of scoring, but it's still the same stages. So basically, the bigger enemies, you can put overkill into them, you can put more bullets into them for more points. However, it doesn't add too much to the game, but that said, the original Raiden game is still there and it's still fantastic. And I don't know how I was any good at this when I was a kid, because it is ridiculously hard. These bullet hell shooters can be a lot of fun, but it is very specific in, if you don't enjoy these style of games, you probably won't enjoy Raiden as well. But if you've played Crimson Clover recently, that's another fantastic one. So honestly, if you like this sort of game and tried it when you were a kid at an arcade, definitely worth a pick up. It's fairly cheap, and it's great that it's finally out on Steam so people can work it into like their home-built arcade cabs and home theater PCs and really get some fun out of it. Now, I actually tried the Google version of this, where you'd go in Google Maps and you'd search around and walk around.
This was the Ingress app, right?
Yes. But I don't know. Pokemon Go seems to be very interesting because we haven't seen all of what the product actually is.
No, we've seen the hope that whole communities, whole cities will come together to try to take down a perfectly innocent Pokemon just doing its own thing. No, we can't have any of that.
No, so it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. And obviously it's a cool concept, and a lot of augmented reality stuff has been coming out over the last few years, but nothing's been really implemented very well. So he's hoping that something like Pokemon can bring it forward.
Here's augmented reality for the rest of us, because previously, like we've had sort of just like nifty but sort of niche things. Pokemon, we can all associate with Pokemon. We can all associate with the adventures of Ash Ketchum, of going forward and catching them all.
I don't know about that wristband though. I can't imagine people walking around
What do you
with
mean?
that.
It's the snazzy fashion accessories, and people will walk around with all sorts of dumb things on them, so why not a Pokemon watch?
That is very true. So, I don't know, maybe we'll see people walking around catching Pokemon in the near future.
I just, look forward to, well, not exactly look forward to, walking around my neighborhood and just catching nothing but trubbish, the rubbish Pokemon.
All right, Jamie, so when you've decided that, oh crap, we haven't got a Mario game to release this year, how about we give everybody all the tools they need to make their own Mario games? Is that a reasonable compromise?
I think that's very reasonable.
Okay, because that's basically what Nintendo did with Super Mario Maker.
Yay.
Yeah, so it follows along like the trends of stuff like Little Big Planet was probably the first big one to do it. But I mean, there's obviously level editors aren't a new thing, but the level of, I guess, customization in Mario Maker is pretty unique.
I think because it's focused. That's what I like about it. Because unlike, say, Disney Infinity or even something like Minecraft or hell, Little Big Planet, all you do is make levels.
Yes.
You play them, of course, but all you do is make that is the game, is to make levels.
And it's both its strength and its weakness, because, you know, there is that focus of, you know, what do I want to do to make a level? Like, so you can take levels like, you know, we downloaded some there from Somewhat Awesome and stuff like that. And so he made a level nice and simple, really easy to play, nice little trick in there.
And then you can go kind of, you can download it and look at the editor, go into the editor and see, how did you make this level?
Yes, and
which
then
is really cool.
And then you can go my way and be like utterly sadistic and
You
make
mean
level.
you mean add dumb bullshit?
Yeah, and that is basically it. So like, my level's passable. Like, anyway, let's different story. But I think that's also its weakness, in the fact that you can't, like, you can do something. There's a couple that have made like music levels and autoplay levels and stuff, and it's cool. But I don't think you're ever going to make a calculator or a top-down shooter in the same way you can in.
All you do is make levels from point A to point B. It's not a problem. It's just if you got to kind of temper your expectations a little bit.
So I think if anything, it shows you the power of, I guess, understanding the audience you're making a level for. Whereas in, you know, Minecraft and things, you make these levels and you do it because, I want to make a picture of a minion in Don't Start. You make a minion in Minecraft, and so you can do that, or you can make, like, you know, an auto pig generator. In this, you just figure out who you want to make a level for, what you want to see it do, or if there's a level that you liked in an existing Mario game and thought, let's put a twist on it, you can do that too.
Yeah.
So, again, I think its strength and its weakness is its focus, and there are just so many tools that you can use.
And it's fun just to go online, download a whole bunch of levels, play through them. It kind of sucks that kind of just looking for levels is a bit more of a hassle than it should be, but I guess
it is a bit clunky, but it's fine. Especially if you've got friends, they can send you their codes, you download them, and it's such a quick process because all it does is take the numbers and basically the basic information. All the assets are already on your thing.
So you don't have to download anything. It's seconds, which is great.
It's awesome, and so. Like, I don't know, it's great fun having all these levels with all the fireworks going off, adding all your own noises, you know, showing all of these cool, like, you know, death animations you can set up and stuff. My spinny level, I love my spinny level. Anyway, moral of the story is there's a lot to do in the game, and there's a lot of kind of customization options to it, but it is just a level editor.
And the best thing about it is, no one's making 1-1s. It's fantastic.
They're making Sonic levels instead, though.
It's better than 1-1.
Is it?
A little bit, I don't know.
Now, Tim, as an interesting comparison, you haven't played much of this, but you used to play a lot of Little Big Planet back in the day, didn't you?
Yes, I did. The original Little Big Planet was something that I think Sony really had a good grip on, and something like level creation and bringing together a community of fantastic level designers It just worked really well for the game.
And did you make many levels yourself, or did you just defer to the community?
No, I've always been terrible at making things, coming up with ideas of my own, so I just downloaded other people's levels. And there are a lot of really good levels.
I know,
there.
and the stuff they did, they effectively made computers, calculators. I'm surprised if they don't make Minecraft in Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'm sort of in the same camp as you. I am dumb. I have not a creative bone in my body, so I'm not that sort of person. But I'm encouraged to make levels in Super Mario Maker. I've made a couple of levels. I've spent time thinking about how I can implement this nifty idea into a level. And I think it's because we've kind of been trained for the past 30 years on what a Mario level looks like, what the various rules and tool types are. Having said that though, we are learning very quickly that it is hard to design a Mario level. No matter how simple it is, how much, if you've got the 2D plane and just the hardtails, a lot of people make just the sort of dumb, memey levels like your Sonics, your auto runners.
Yeah.
I'm hoping like the Little Big Planet community, that it eventually shakes out and you've just got a dedicated community of people making good Mario levels. But at the moment, I'm just happy with this little guy so far, this little amiibo. Hello.
Still not the best amiibo though.
No.
Need the giant Yoshi.
Oh god, the giant Yoshi.
Yes.
Get out of my dreams, get into my car.
I really hope that Mario Maker has that good like golden period of where there's good content creation and there's still content creators making lots of good levels. And he's hoping that it'll be good. But that's it for this week. So visit our website, www.newgameplus.tv.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/NewGamePlusTV.
Follow Twitter and Instagram at NewGamePlusTV.
And follow us on YouTube. We are New Game Plus TV for videos and live streams.
Thank you, Donald.
Thank you, Tim.
We'll see you guys next week.